haven't we? Living in an old, run-down rental house that in winter feels colder inside than out. Tenants often just put up with it, but that is about to change.
From tomorrow, July the 1st, law changes require landlords to have smoke alarms installed in their rental properties and insulate them within 3 years. While some may feel it's not really their job, Jill Higgins met one man who says it's the least they should be doing.
On this stunner of a Nelson day, Glenn Bisdee's still got winter on his mind. He's out delivering heaters.
For the first winter, I put in about 60 or 70 of them.
Glenn's no landlord. He simply wants to do good. When he's not doing shift work at the port, he's getting deals on heaters, firewood, jackets, and handing them out.
And one of the little guys, put on his jacket and he was like, "Mum, this smells really nice." And the mum's like, "That's because it's new." Kids will write a card, like, "Hey, thanks a lot."
Glenn's just noticed a problem and just decided to do something about it.
He works with a local community centre using local funding.
Nelson Girls College, Mufti Day, $1,500. They'll go good.
How many heaters will that buy?
I need you right now.
Penny, the nurse, points him towards the coldest homes.
I remember the very first house I took him to, and he was horrified when we pulled the bed out and he found that the wall was absolutely dripping wet. So that was a family with asthma. People are living in conditions that are not acceptable in today's world.
We couldn't film at the worst rentals.
Certainly don't want to, rock the boat as such between a tenant and landlord. They don't want to be thrown out.
But even with the better houses, we get the idea. This private rental has no insulation. The windows are wet with condensation.
In the day, like today, you can actually open up the window.
It doesn't open.
Oh, it doesn't open.
No.
Oh.
The temperature, even in the middle of this sunny day, is well below the recommended healthy level of 18 degrees.
It's 14.9 degrees.
At night, it drops much lower. So Susan's daughter sleeps in the lounge.
That is way too cold for her.
And it's affected her health?
Coughing and really sick and chesty.
Glenn bubble wraps windows and gives advice.
Put a woolen blanket over the top of that.
Yeah.
And it just creates that kind of another little thermal break.
He knows tenants need to help themselves, but feels landlords can step up their game too.
The condition of the houses aren't good enough.
And change is coming. From tomorrow, new regulations mean insulation has to go in floors and ceilings. In Auckland, this landlord's getting a head start.
There's about 450,000 houses in the rental market. Currently, we've got about 180,000 that actually haven't had insulation. There's 180,000 in 3 years. You won't want to be leaving it until the last minute because I can imagine the insulation guys are going to be pretty busy.
He knows not all landlords think it's their role. But back in Nelson, Glenn thinks this is the least they can do.
I'd like to see a full warrant of fitness on houses, actually, and maybe once it's introduced to actually have people checking things that are actually being done.
Because he sees the difference. Today's moving in day for Taya. After 2 months homeless, staying with friends or in the back of her car, this is well-insulated heaven.
Absolutely love it. Any home that's warm and can fit us all in at the moment is perfect.
Glenn's still helping with a wood delivery to last the winter.
That's a lot of fires.
But he's confident this is a healthy home. And the new regulations mean there should be plenty more.
That would be really awesome. That would be kind of, that would do me out of a good
Then we
job.
can move on to another problem.
Aren't we so lucky to have people like Glenn in this world? I mean, living in a dry house, a warm, dry house, makes such a phenomenal difference to your health, to your well-being. Good on him. He has a Give a Little page, by the way, keeping kids warm.
And he was working at the port. So he worked all night when Jill went to interview him and then spent the day helping people out.
Being interviewed. Good on him.